Moons go down on our pageant grounds. Cast your eyes upon the still water. Ishkate, keeper of the light and fire, approaches. Ishkate, keeper of light and fire, bring the light of your flame to our council ring. And now, cast your eyes to the hill beyond the still waters. There lies the spirit of the great rock eagle. Oh, spirit of the great rock eagle, are you well pleased with our week of camp? What was that, Great Spirit? Spirit of the great rock eagle, send down your fire from heaven to light our council fire. As fuel is brought to our fire, and the flame and the smoke intertwine and rise to the heavens, so let our hearts intertwine one with another and rise to the heavens with the love of man for man, and the love of man for God. It's now a quiet time in the nation.
Everything as it moves, here and now and then, makes stops along the way. The great birds, as they fly, stop in one place to make sure of their nest, and in another to rest from their wearisome flight. And so it is with man. As he goes along, he stops and tarries wherever he wishes. We Native Americans stopped on this great land to live from the bountiful riches of the earth. In the springtime, we tend our crops until the fall, when we reap our harvest. We eat of the land, live of the land, are of the land. We live by the mighty sun at day and the friendly moon at night. The Great Spirit watches us as we take care of our sick, prepare food, and make pottery and clothing. We use our hands to make tools to help us with our labor, seek game with our eyes, and listen to the wondrous sounds of earth's wilderness. Our mighty braves leave us to fight for our lands and return as honorable warriors. As they defend our lands, the women watch the camps as the children learn the commands of their parents. From Mother Earth to body, we eat, and from body to earth we return as we sleep peacefully beneath the stars. The Great Spirit watches us, guides us, and keeps us in one accord so that we may live together in peace. Our hearts grow as one as we learn to grow together. Our days are made full by a multitude of many chores. Our hope for you is that you will grow as strong as the Native Americans in your ability to work together. For when we part, we shake hands and pat each other on the back. For the friendships of all mankind last from the darkest, earliest ages to the farthest realm of the future. Let us pray. Great Spirit, thank you for allowing us to share this week together. Please allow this week to remain in our memories forever. We hope that you will bless the many friendships made here in hopes that they will bring us closer to you. Amen.
And now it is time to tell the story of the great rock eagle and how it came to be. Many questions have been asked. Who built it? Why was it built? Was it a burial crypt? Was it a treasure trove? Now it is time to learn the answer.
Long before the European explorers ever set foot on this continent, long before the Genoese visionaries ever dreamed of a new world beyond the sea, there dwelt in this area 3 great Native American tribes. They were the Cherokee, the Muskogee, and the Shawnee. The tribes were warlike and wasted their time and young manhood in bloodshed. This was so for many years. But one day, the eldest and wisest of the tribal Mikos invited the other tribal leaders to this place to form a great tribal council. Here, she proposed they sit down together and hold a great powwow to decide if peace was better than war. At first, there was distrust because they had been enemies for many years. But finally, their war lances were planted and they agreed to gather in a great powwow to discuss the proposition of peace rather than war. The powwow continued for many hours. Finally, it was agreed that peace would be better than war. A great nation was formed. They became as brothers and sisters. To ensure peace, 5 leaders remained behind to form the great tribal council and keep watch over the new nation. Their color, green, and their symbol, a 4-leaf clover, represent the uniqueness of nature and the 4 directions of Mother Earth. Then the Mikos returned to their tribes in peace. Peace reigned for many years. Each summer, it became the custom of the people to return to this place, and here they gathered in friendly rivalry. They learned many things, working and playing together. They loved to gather beside the still waters and make many objects of both comfort and of necessity. They pounded corn, tanned skins, and strung beads. The Mikos loved to walk among their people and observe the many things they were doing. This was a time of great peace and happiness in the nation. In the nation there dwelt a maiden. She was tall, lithe, and graceful as the mountain lilies swayed by the breath of morning. She often danced before the village fires to the enjoyment of all the people. In the background, she was often accompanied by the beautiful maidens of the nation. A tall, stalwart son of the nation saw the maiden one day and loved her. Thereafter, he came often and watched her as she danced. At first, she was unaware she was being watched. But one day, she saw the brave, and thereafter, her dance was for him, and for him alone. One day, he approached her, and as they walked together, they discovered in each of their hearts there was a kindred love. Thereafter, they spent many happy hours together, walking, talking, and observing the beauties of nature. The maidens of the nation watched with great interest, for these two were favorites of theirs. As the two continued to spend time together, there was even talk of a wedding. But unknown to these two children of nature, tragedy was near. A wandering Greek came by. He saw the maiden and also loved her. He challenged the brave. It seemed there would be bloodshed. The terrified maiden ran to get help as the two struggled. At the direction of Oleante, the two were separated. It was determined there would be a contest in 3 parts. The winner would have the hand of the maiden in marriage. The first part of the contest was the casting of the stone. The Greek was first. His was a mighty heave, and the brave was next. Though, try as he might, he could not match the mighty strength of the Greek. And so the Greek was the winner of the first part of the contest. The second part of the contest was a marathon, run over miles of forests and mountains. As they left, the people wondered who would be the winner. If the brave was the winner, the contest was tied. If the Greek was the winner, the contest was ended and the hand of the maiden would go to the Greek. They ran for hours and hours. The people waited and watched. Who would be the winner? As the nation watched, it seemed as though the brave was ahead, and then the Greek. Finally, they appeared in the distance, and with a burst of speed, the brave was the winner. The contest was tied. The hopes of the nation soared. The two gathered before the great campfire for the last part of the contest, a test of strength and skill. They strove mightily. First one, then the other had the upper hand. Finally, with a burst of strength, the Greek was thrown, and the brave was the winner. The two lovers were reunited. Soon, as the maidens had predicted, the maidens gathered together at the council ring for the marriage ceremony. They knelt before the medicine man, and good medicine was bestowed. As the maidens performed the traditional marriage dance, they became as one. Soon after, she was to be his moonlight, his sunlight, and his starlight. Happiness reigned for many moons. But once more, the bird of ill omen was hovering nearby. War clouds were gathering in the north. For the first time in many years, the sound of the war dance was heard in the nation. The warrior approached the brave. He insisted the brave join him and march away to the north to repel the savage invaders. But the brave was a peaceful man, as one was reluctant to leave his bride. At first, he refused, but the warrior, he was insistent. And finally, though reluctant, the brave agreed. He bade a fond farewell to his maiden and joined the braves as they marched away. The maidens returned to their tribes in great sorrow, for each was seeing a beloved brave depart. Weeks dragged into months, and the maiden came often to this lovely grove where she and the brave had spent so many happy hours together. Here, she was often joined by her sister, who was a favorite in the nation. Here they danced together to relieve the awful loneliness that dwelt in each of their hearts. It was here, as they danced, that tragedy struck. A giant eagle appeared in the sky. The terrified maidens tried to escape, but the eagle swooped down time after time. And try as they might, they could not escape the great bird. They continued to run from side to side, trying to escape, but soon they tired. Finally, the eagle poised high in the sky, circled about, swooped down, and killed the maiden and carried her away. Her terrified sister, the only witness to the tragedy, carried the news to Oleante at the shield. Soon, the people were summoned. The nation gathered once again. They came together and learned what had happened. The maidens gathered at the council ring as they knelt together in the great half moon. The chant of the funeral dirge was heard in the nation. Days later, the warriors appeared, victorious in battle. The brave had become a mighty warrior, as attested by the many cool feathers in his headdress. He was eager to be reunited with his bride, but As he approached, the chant of the funeral dirge struck terror into his heart. He dashed into the circle of chanters and learned the awful truth. With a shriek of agony, he jumped to his feet, wildly flung an arrow into the sky, and vowed he would leave, never to return, until he had killed the giant eagle himself. In the savage battle, the coup feathers he earned were many. His headdress was a cherished possession. He placed his headdress in the hands of the maiden's sister and vowed he would never reclaim it until he had brought back the dead body of the eagle. And the battle would be difficult. He sought good medicine from the medicine man. Thus fortified, he bade farewell to the warriors with whom he had gone through so much and marched away. People of the nation experienced another great sorrow. Realizing he would be gone for a long time, they returned to their separate villages in despair. After many months of searching, the brave found the nest of the giant eagle on top of Stone Mountain, and therein the bones of his bride. He hid and waited for the eagle. Soon it appeared in the sky. As it settled upon his nest, he attacked. There was a savage battle. At first it seemed the great strength of the eagle would be too much, but finally, with a stroke of his knife, the eagle was killed. Although sorely wounded himself, he strapped the dead body of the eagle on his back and began the long journey homeward. Meanwhile, hoping for news of the brave and his mission, the people returned. When they learned the brave had not, they were troubled and feared for his life. They gathered in the half-moon around the council ring, and once again, the chant of the funeral dirge was heard in the nation. Days later, the brave appeared, weary in body and with a broken heart. He had fulfilled his vow to avenge the death of his bride, and he cast down the body of the eagle before the council fire. His headdress, he fell dead before the fires of his homeland. The sister confirmed his death and carried the message to Oleante. This then was the final tragedy of the nation, and the bravest of warriors were summoned. As the maidens watched in horror, they drew for burial.